Hello and welcome to the Bee Formless Flow Driven CEO podcast. I am welcoming to the show. I was going to say Ranadene, well, Randy, but I'm going to say Ranadene Tapio, but Randy
Yep.
is your preferred name. So, welcome to the show, Randy.
Thank you.
Thank you. And it is, I think you said is it 5:30 p.m.?
We are at, 5:20 p.m. Central USA time.
Yeah, and remind me where you are again?
We're right in the middle of Minnesota. So
That's
right
right.
dead center, Minneapolis, St. Paul area.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Cool. So
Yeah.
you're in the past, I'm in the future, but we're right in the present right here, right now. So which is always cool. And
There
I
you go.
there you
Fun.
go, right? So you're the founder and CEO of MedCycle Solutions. I was saying to you that I love your branding and I love the colors there. And MedAcademy as well, from what I understand. Two companies or two, yeah, two companies.
DBAs. Yep.
Yep,
Yep.
that bridge healthcare and consulting and education to improve the operational flow of medical practices. You are a woman that's had a business. This business has been going since, I think you said, was it 2000 and what year did you say again?
Yep. Was first started my first billing company in 2001.
That's right.
Um,
Yeah.
yep. And then
Yeah. Sorry, you go.
ran that for about 10 years, sold it in 2011. And then I went to some consulting firms, did that for a while, was a clinic administrator, a rev cycle director at some clinics for a while, hung up my own shingle again in 2015 under MedCycle. Did that for a few years before I went back to consulting in 2018, but still had MedCycle on the side. But then in 2021 left the consulting world for good, and then did a relaunch reboot for what is still MedCycle in 2021. So we're coming up on our 4-year reboot anniversary in September.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, you've talked around the decades of experience in healthcare administration, compliance, and billing. And so, what I understand is you help businesses or clinics streamline their systems, optimize their performance, and reduce burnout through smarter process design, which is amazing. And your work with you and your team reflects a commitment to clarity, simplicity, and empowering healthcare leaders to lead from, well, what I like to say, lead from the inside out by fixing what's underneath the surface. Because the problem's never the problem, right? There's always,
The surface is never the problem. There's always a deeper root, right? And for us, usually that's trading or lack thereof, right? I tell my staff all the time, clients don't come to us when things are going well, right? Every single client we ever get is because they're in a crisis of some sort. And for us, that's money driven, right? We can help them fix their revenue problems, their workflows around revenue, why claims aren't getting paid, why they're getting rejected, denied, whatever the case may be. But every single one comes with their own unique situation. No client is cookie cutter. No two clients are the same. So I love that part of it, digging into the fix, the why, figuring out the problem solving behind it.
yeah. So it sounds like you had a bit of an interesting time because you were telling me when we were chatting that you also were doing remote working before remote even became. So
Yep. So
tell us a
back
bit about your journey. Like, how did you? I'm keen to understand. I mean, you've just given a quick little backstory in terms of consulting, sold a company, etc. But how did MedCycle come about? Like, and all the like, tell us a bit about like you. Sounds like you've been doing things before your time as well. So yeah,
Sure. So my very first company, which was not named MedCycle, but the first iteration of it, I actually started in 2001. I had had a major car accident in the November of 2000. And I was in rehab for 2 or 3 years doing follow-up surgeries. I'd broken a lot of bones, all the things. Also had an infant daughter that was 6 months old at the time of the accident. So fast forward to April of 2001, I wasn't mobile physically, but I was so bored mentally. And I'm like, okay, I have this healthcare background at that time was in long-term care and assisted living, but the world was just starting to become aware of what a medical biller was and what they did. So I took a course, I got a certification, I opened up my own shop in April of 2001, signed my first client that August from a direct mail postcard, which is unheard of today. No one mails postcards
yeah,
anymore. So I did that, and then ran that business for 10 years. Essentially, we just did billing at that time, right? And AR recovery. It was pretty limited in scope. I was getting bored after 10 years, but I was raising babies too. I had a second kid in there. So now I had two kids and maybe middle school ages at that time, but I was still bored. So I'm like, what's the next step? Somebody knew somebody that was hiring a junior consultant at a consulting firm. So they said, you should go meet this person. I went and met that person. I became a junior consultant, what at that point was Larson Allen. They're a national CPA firm in the US. So I did that for a couple of years. And then they were going to go through a merger with another CPA firm that then made them the seventh largest CPA firm in the nation. Well, there's only a few consultants on staff at that time that were not CPAs, right? We're not CPAs, we're certified in billing and coding, but there was maybe four of us at that time, but they're becoming the seventh largest CPA firm. So they're like, we don't know what to do with you. So we're going to let you out of your non-competes and you go do your own thing because we don't know what to do with you. And we have 7,000 employees over here that are CPAs and tech guys, right? So I went to some clinics and was a clinic administrator, rev cycle director, those kinds of things, until probably from 2012 to 2015, somewhere in there. And then in 2015, I did MedCycle. And I did that. I now have high schooler, middle schoolers at that time. Was able to be flexible and do the things and be a mom and run a business and all those things. I did that with me and one part-timer really from 2015 to 2018, just doing our thing, me and another mom doing our thing. 2018, my old boss called me and said, putting the band back together, you want to come back? I said, sure, but I'm not a junior anymore. I want some
Yeah,
benefits,
yeah.
right?
That's
So
cool.
I went back at a higher level. I was a director and did that. And now I'm at now what is now Clifton Larson Allen. And I was a director level there, flew around the country, also doing practice assessments within the clinic. So interviewing their staff, figuring out what the problems were, all of the things from front end to back end. So for front end for us starts at when a patient calls to make the appointment, all the way through the claim cycle, right? So they make the appointment, they get scheduled, we check their benefits, we get the prior auths, we get the referrals, all the things in between, right? Now the provider sees them, a claim is generated, maybe it rejects, maybe it denies, the payer doesn't pay, whatever that is. So we follow the money part of that whole process from front to back. And then when we were doing practice assessments then around the country, we were interviewing the staff in all of those positions, right? Because we have to figure out where the broken link is, right?
Mm.
Maybe often it's registration. And not because those people aren't talented, but usually because those people are not trained. It does not require any certification to be in a front desk role. It doesn't require any certain education. You can literally have a high school education. It might be a high schooler. So there's just really no training on those things. So we do a lot of training in various roles along the way within that process. So I did that, and about halftime when I was at CLA, but my other half, I was running the revenue cycle department. So we were doing insurance, aging, cleanup. That was our scope when I went back in 2018. That was what we were building out that service line to support our accounting clients, really, right? Because at all these CPAs that can see money's not flowing, right? But they don't know
Yeah.
why, because they're
Yeah.
CPAs, that's not their role. So they would just feed us clients. So over the 3 years I was back there under the Clifton Larson Allen brands, CLA brand, I built out 3 service lines in 3 years, and I left with a staff of 15. And I was the only director that had a staff. The rest of them flew around the country, but they didn't have staff. So I built out the insurance aging arm was the first piece. Then COVID hit. And then we worked through that from a coding and billing compliance perspective, because now telehealth was becoming really big.
Yeah.
But visit levels were going down, right? Because if it wasn't an emergency, if it was optional, they were getting canceled, all those things, right? So then clinics were calling our team and saying, okay, we're not generating new visits, but we have this patient aging sitting out there. Can you call our patients and get some of that money? let me tell you how fun it is to call patients for money during COVID. Not great. So we did that. We did that, and we're as successful as you could be under this situation, right?
Mhm.
So that was the second service line we built out there. And then we built out the credentialing arm, which is getting providers credentialed within the payers with Blue Cross, Aetna, whatever it might be on their panels. So we built those three service lines out in those 3 years. Um, January of 21 is when I left CLA, and then took the summer to really build what was going to be the relaunch of
Yeah, that's what I
MedCycle.
wanted to ask you because it's like kind of like listening to you. You've started a business and you've gone back into corporate, you've come out, you go back. What made you keep
Yep,
going back into corporate? But then what made you finally decide to go, no, I'm done with working for others?
with corporate.
Yeah.
um, so I got my real MBA in 2012 when I was with the first iteration of what is now CLA, but I got my real MBA at CLA, right? Because that's where you learn the hands-on, roll up the
Yeah.
sleeves, learn what you're doing. Um, Why I went back was probably that for the experience I knew I'd get at a large firm. I had people around me that were higher level, that had been in the industry for a long time, had been consultants for a long time, that I hadn't been exposed to before. And I knew I'd learn a lot. And I did. And I was able to learn how to build out a service line at CLA, which I had never really done prior. Yes, my first iteration of my business was billing and claims. That's basic in AR cleanup. That's basically all we did. But now at CLA the second time around, because I wasn't a junior anymore, I had more say the second time. I could actually say, this is what the clients are needing, demanding, wanting. And they'd be like, do you know how to build it? I'm like, I'll figure it out. Right. And I had people around me to support that. And I had coders on staff, and I had tech, and I had IT. I had all these people in all these departments at my fingertips to help me build that out. It was a great experience.
So it's almost like an apprenticeship, traineeship, if you like, to then put you
Yep.
instead for
Hmm.
starting your own
Yep.
business. And what's it like having your
Right.
own, like what's it like going again this time round with your company?
Night and day. It's complete, so different because I know what I like about corporate. I know what I don't like about corporate, right? I know what the things I want to take forward and things I want to leave in the past,
And
right?
what
Um,
are those? Like I'd love to know, like what don't you like? Well, what do you like and what don't you like about corporate?
so I think the things that get you bogged down in corporate a lot are, of course, the internal politics and people that have been there longer than you and those kinds of things, but just also the red tape, and like bigger companies have internal legal departments and internal compliance departments and things like that are just, and not that they're not needed. I get that, but everything has to go through so many layers to get an okay. When at maybe level 2, it's okay, but you have to wait, and those things just take so long the bigger the company is. So that was usually my biggest frustration. Also, like, you have a little bit less direct access to the client, right? Because there's so many more people involved. In our case, we had CPAs, maybe we had a tech guy, maybe we had us doing AR, and not everybody like can work as seamlessly together when there's so many moving parts, and each director maybe has so many clients, and the client load is just so big. Like, it's hard to give each client the attention you want. So that's just and that's not a CLA thing. That's just corporate in general. Like,
Yeah.
it gets big. What I did like is that you did pretty much have any resource you needed at your fingertips. And if somebody didn't know, you could find it. We could reach out to somebody and find it. That was really nice. We did have the flexibility to try things, right? And if it didn't work, it didn't work, and we'd
Yeah,
move
you
on to
move
the
on.
next thing. Yeah, so that kind of stuff was nice. The technology and infrastructure that it taught me at that job to bring forward into now my much smaller scale thing. We're very technology heavy and driven in everything we do, just internally even. That was probably the biggest thing that I took away from round 2 of corporate.
Yeah, cool. And what about leadership? So you went from a junior to a director, and
Yep,
you've got
yep.
how many in your team now?
So when I was a junior there, I didn't have any direct reports to me, but when I was a director, I had 15 under
No,
me.
yeah,
Now I have 22 staff now.
22 staff
So
in MedCycle Solutions. Wow.
We do. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which makes,
In 4 years.
yeah, wow, that's wow. And you're calling yourself
It's crazy
small.
growth. It's crazy growth. Yeah. Well, so in the landscape of revenue cycle companies within the USA or billing companies, we'd probably be considered mid-size. We're not large. I mean, there's ones that, are super, super large and we're just not that. And that's okay. I'm comfortable with where we're at and the growth we've had. We would be considered, rapid growth for sure. But we're still in that mid-size market and that's okay. We're comfortable there. We're doing well.
Yeah, awesome. And for you as a leader, what do you think is what do you think is the I don't want to use the word skills, but what do you think makes up a leadership? Like I have a whole thing around it's for me, it's soulful, it's conscious, it's high performing is what a leader is. What's your view on leadership?
Oh, I didn't have that question. So I mean, we have core values, right? And we have things that we are important to the company, and I try to live them every day and bring the rest of the team up with, right? One of our big ones is trust, optimism, growth minded, team centered. I'm forgetting what the fifth one is, but
I
we
love
live
it.
those every day. We live those every day and we talk. So before we even interview someone to come into the company, we send them our core values and say, read, and they're on our website too, on our careers page. So the people know we are very transparent. That's one of the things that I'm proud of for MedCycles. We're transparent with our clients. We're transparent with staff coming in. They know exactly what they're walking in the door to get. Um, the old saying, play nice in the sandbox. That is what we try to live by every day. Just assume the best of each other. I feel like nobody's really out to get another person. They're just, if something goes wrong, it's just a miscommunication. Fix that, right? How you say something that might not be interpreted how the person receives it, just fix that. Just have a conversation. So we really try to live that and just do the right thing, right? And be nice and play nice and cooperate and teamwork and those kinds of things.
Yeah, and I think it's feedback with positive intent, right? Like it's providing that
Hmm.
feedback. It's like
Correct.
nipping it in the bud with positive intent. I think it's
Yes.
super. What's the hardest part about having your own business?
Always staffing. That will always be the staffing and meaning getting the right staff in the right positions, right? Because of course in 4 years of hyper growth like that, we've had people come and go. Right now we have a solid team, they're great, whatever, but we're coming up on another signing season within the industry and we're going to have a couple more that come and go. It'll just happen. We say here we have to hire three to keep one. That kind of ends up being. We have a process for that now of how we deal with that. It just is what it is. We try to be as upfront, even during the interview process of what the job's gonna look like, what the team is like, those kinds of things. It works for some, it doesn't for all. We're 100% remote team. We are all US based, but there's not like we can stand at the coffee cup and talk, right? That doesn't exist. But we're super intentional on scheduling the meetings that need to be weekly and keeping things moving and people connected. And we have virtual Christmas parties and virtual birthday parties and different things like that, so that we try to keep some camaraderie there too, as far as just lightheartedness and having fun with each other too. So
Because that's why your values are so important. Because you
mhm.
guys do you ever meet in person or no? Like it's completely.
Yep, so we do. So there's about four of us that are in the Minnesota area, but there's also about three or four that are out in New Jersey on the East Coast. So they get together, the Minnesotas get together. My COO actually lives in New Jersey, New Jersey. She flies to Minnesota twice a year, so she meets up then with the Minnesota group. We do have a couple gals on staff that fly out to conferences and we vent at conferences. So then they'll get to meet up now and then or something. So big picture goal someday is to have and everybody together couple few days, right? Where everybody can get together and meet in person. But that's a dream down the down the road. We're not there yet.
Yeah,
So
because it's quite incredible because when you think about remote and like everything that obviously COVID has, and you read all the different, stats and stories on hybrid versus remote versus, working in the office, all that sort of stuff. Remote seems like it's been the biggest, well, not the biggest, but it's been one of the ones to crack the code on in terms of how do you create a culture? But it sounds like you're really creating that high performing culture Um,
Hmm.
and it's putting your values in action. It's having the constant communication. It's almost like you've got all the different rituals and rhythms in place to ensure that
Hmm.
it doesn't miss a
Over
beat.
20 over 24 years, right? So when I talk about opening my first business in 2001, I was remote then, right? And so for all of you that are my age, in 2001, I had one phone line that was plugged into the wall, right? One phone line. So I could fax, email, or be on the internet, one of them at a time. I couldn't do any of them together, right? So I've gone through the whole electronic boom of healthcare as far as moving everything to electronic medical records and electronic claims and everything. I started when everything was still on paper, right? And we moved to the electronic. So because I was remote from then, and it was just maybe me and a few others at that time under the first iteration, I learned some of those basic things. But then when I went to corporate and then COVID hit, that's really when like the Microsoft Teams and Zooms and all of those really blew up and took off. And I just learned them. I just embraced them. And I'm like, yep, this is the solution we've needed, right? So we're a Microsoft Teams shop. I make no bones about it. We are plugged in. We're a Microsoft Teams shop. We use all of the tools for all the things. So we have Microsoft Teams phone numbers that are assigned to our staff. We use Teams. That's where we store all of our documents. So no matter what computer they're on, they can get in. We're fully integrated with Teams.
Yeah, wow. And what do you see then? Like, do you look at like when you like what do you see as like like when you read about things, do you kind of just laugh or do you kind of go like if you see what like you probably encounter people that are like we're trying to do remote, we're trying to do hybrid. Would you say is the biggest thing that needs to be in place for the business to succeed in whether it's remote or hybrid?
You need a Teams type environment. There's other solutions people can search about and demo those. Those are fine for us. The Teams with Microsoft Teams was the solution, but you need something like that that connects everybody where everything is accessible, right? All of our files are accessible. We can do training videos and save them in there, all of those kinds of things. Um, I think step two is making sure you have those frequent touch points that you need with the people that you need them with, right? So I have 22 staff. There's no way I meet with 22 people every single week. There's just not. So you have to kind of go down the line, right? For sure, I meet with my leadership every week, but then they are in charge of meeting with their direct reports and their direct reports, right? So you just have to build a structure around what that looks like. However, so our lowest, when you come in as a specialist, that's the lowest. I meet with them once every other month. My COO meets with them the opposite month. So they always get a leadership once a month touch. Now, if something pops up on an off month, of course, I'm going to meet with them again, but they're standing. They know they can meet with me every other month. They get half an hour of my undivided attention. It's all about them. So just building those things into your processes and not feeling like you have to do all the things. That's what delegation is, right? Delegate to elevate, right? So I don't have to do it all. It doesn't have to sit all on my shoulders. I've hired smart people. Let them be smart. Let them
I
use
love
their
it. You're
skills.
only as good as the people around you, aren't you? You're really.
Mm.
What about, I've got another question for you in terms of switching off. So, I know like it's funny, I'm having a morning of talking to people that I spoke to somebody else and about how their business pivoted in COVID. But if we go back to like even now, like if you are working remotely or if like in the world we're in now, it's really hard to switch off from technology. It's really hard to switch
Mm.
off. Like
Yep.
I've been reading around we've created more flexibility and more freedom, but in our like the way we're working, but there's also then the risk of that you're always on. You're never switching off from your tech. So how do you and your team ensure that you're switching off and not working? Because it's easy, like when you're home and
It
you're like,
is.
I'll just go check something, or but you've just got to shut your computer. I mean, I shut my computer down. Like, what sort of rituals do you instill with the team?
So as an owner, I probably have zero boundaries, right? I'm not good at it, right? My stuff is on my phone all the time and I can see it, even on vacation and things like that. But we do, our other core value is balance, actually. So it's work-life balance and family balance and things like that. So good segue. But so we talk a lot with our team about when I was coming up, part of the reason, I created the first company was number one, I wasn't mobile and I was home and I still needed an income. But number two, I didn't want to miss things with my kids, right? I never wanted to be a mom that had kids and sent them to daycare. That was just my own personal thing. I wanted
Yeah,
to be home to do all the
get it.
things. This allowed me to do that. So now I get to provide that to other moms that get to do that, that are highly skilled and highly trained and are highly educated. For my staff level people, we do tell them, shut it off. Don't have it on your phone. If you're going on vacation, delete it off your phone. Those things. So we preach that all the time and encourage that all the time. I also tell my staff all the time, like, at the end of the day, nothing's going to blow up or burn down, or the world is not going to end based on what we do. Yes, we have to get revenue in and those kinds of things, but this is not brain surgery. This is not rocket science. Like, you have to keep in perspective what your job is. And yes, we are getting revenue all day, every day. But if it's 6 o'clock and you've got a thing, it'll wait till 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. You know what I mean? Like, you just have to be like realistic and like not get all bent out of shape about it. Some of that comes with age. I'm not 23, I'm not 30 anymore, right? Like, some of that comes with perspective and age and just
Work will always
settling
be
into
there
yourself.
as well for me. Like work will always be there. Like
Yes,
you have to set your
yes.
boundaries. So how do you keep your cup full, Randy? How do you make sure that you don't burn out? How do you make sure that you're yeah.
I build it in. I build my schedule of what the week looks like, and I'm booked out about 2 weeks on my schedule. So I know what my day is going to look like. I know what my week's going to look like. If we have a family vacation coming up, it's on my calendar months in advance so that I don't schedule meetings during those times. So I just gotten really good at building it in and using my calendar to its fullest extent. It's color coded. I know if it's family
Same.
versus work, all the things.
I
Yeah.
love it. And I think, you know what? It's such a basic, but so many people don't do that.
Yeah.
And that's just
Right.
what gets you trapped. When
Yep. And
you,
then
oh, sorry, you go.
oh, just syncing your work and your personal calendars, right? So you're not
Yeah,
overlapping, being
yeah,
able to do those things.
yeah.
Yeah.
I even have sleep, like when I go to sleep in my diary and everything, right? You know,
Out of office. Yep.
yeah,
Not
powering
available.
up,
Yep.
powering down, all of that sort of stuff. When you booked into come on the pod, I always ask that question around one unique insight or experience around life, leadership, or business. And you said, do the right thing always, even when it's hard. Follow your gut, it's always right. Do more when do more than what you say you're going to do. Exceed expectations in brackets. Treat others well, take care of the people around you. Remember, you didn't get here alone. Others have helped along the way. Great leaders provide opportunities to others. Reach out a helping hand to those coming up behind you. Freely mentor the next generation in your field.
100%. All those things. It's the basics, right? For me, those are leadership basics. You could go deep on any one of them, but it goes back to just doing the right thing. And I didn't get here alone, right? I talked a lot about my corporate experience and what that taught me and what that gave me. I'm forever grateful for the experiences and the people that helped in that part of my career in my life. But at the end of the day, my gut is always right. Anytime I haven't listened to it, it hasn't gone well. When I listen to it fully and just embrace it and go with it, it works out better. My staff laughs at me sometimes. They're like, "Oh, Randy saw the next shiny object. There's a shiny thing over here that she's all excited about." But it's usually right. And just listening to that. And then I guess the golden rule, right? Treat others how you want to be treated. The rest of it all falls into that, right? So
Mm,
for me, being able to give the opportunities I wished I'd had, instead I created my own. I didn't know I was doing that at the time. I mean, I didn't have this crystal ball. I was just trying to be home with my kid, make some money and do my thing. Like, that's really all I was doing at the beginning back in 2001. And here we are now. But where the business really was able to boom is when my kids graduated, right? When they got older, when they were in high school. So the mamas out there with babies, it doesn't have to happen overnight. I heard somebody say one time, you can have it all, but not at the same time. And that just stuck with me. Like, I
so
mean, this was
true.
like 15 years ago. And I'm like, oh, that's so true. You have pockets of life that are different, right? So if you're in the pocket of life where you're changing diapers or you're running around with travel sports, those are very different than my kids are now out of the house, right? Like that's just a very different time of life. So
Yeah. So
embrace it. They're all great. They're all great seasons. Embrace it all.
yeah, I think they're all great seasons, and you can have seasons when you kind of turn the lights off for a bit. Like you might be going through a season,
Yep.
you're pivoting in
Yep.
your career, you're changing careers. I mean,
100%.
I did that, and and then you're just like, okay, so you need that time, to.
Yep.
So what's next for you, and what's next for you personally, and then what's next for MedCycle Solutions?
Personally, we're brand new grandparents. We have
Yes,
a
I was about to
3-month-old
say that.
grandchild daughter. Yes, we love her to pieces. She's perfection. We love her a lot. So that's been fun. Our
She's
son
three
is
months, right? 3 months, you said.
she's 3 months, and so that's our daughter's child. And then our son is still lives at home, but he's doing his whole collegiate type education stuff. So, but he lives at home yet doing that. So we just have the two. Personally, we bought some land in our hometown for commercial purposes. So we'll be building out some businesses that help the local community, and we'll TBD on what that all looks like, but we're excited about that. And my daughter will have a business in there, toying with maybe my son having a business in there. So we'll see where that all ends. But family vacations and things like that. My mom is still around. My husband's mom is still around. So we make sure we take them on vacations and things with us and do the multi-generational thing.
How cool. What does your husband do? Like, is he like an entrepreneur as well?
Oh no. Oh no. He is the rock, the steady, carry the 9 to 5 benefit job all the way through. He lets me be the dream. By his own nature, am allowed to be the dreamer and the risk taker and the entrepreneur, because by his nature, he is the steady benefit guy. So he's a finance manager at a semi-trucking company. He's been doing that for various semi-trucking companies here in our area for 10 years or something like that. So he loves it. He works with the guys. It's close to home. He loves it.
Oh,
So
I love it. I love it. It's like the yin and the yang of the two of you.
100%.
And MedCycle, what's next for MedCycle Solutions then?
Yeah, so for MedCycle, so I tell my staff a successful year for me is if we can roll out 2 service lines and like 2 internal projects or things, right? So this year we're working on KPI measurings, measuring KPIs, key performance indicators, and the CRM, right? Those are our internal things. Our external things are MedAcademy and then our auditing service line and things like that. I know in my head what we're going to roll out in 26, 27, 28. I know what those things are that are coming up already. We also rolled out, or will be rolling out in a couple weeks, business office consultants, which is more of a consultancy arm of the business, where we do budgeting and forecasting and business planning and mentoring for small businesses, because I get asked about it in my local community. So why not expand it? We have several of our leadership ladies on our team that are able to help with some of those things. So if you think of like a market analysis or social media marketing and things like that, we have various people on our team that do those things. So we'll be rolling that out too at the company. So that's another service line.
Amazing. Gosh, sure. It's just like this one woman who's unstoppable. It's incredible. It's incredible.
Because I have time now,
Yeah,
right?
because you
So
have the
yeah,
time
yeah,
now. What
yeah.
would be one piece of advice you would give anyone stepping into a leadership role?
Listen to your people. They know better than you do. The people that are doing the job, because I used to sit in the same seats that all of my staff are currently sitting in, but I don't sit in those seats now. I don't know, you know what I mean? I don't go through their certifications and their regulations, and I'm not doing the daily do that they do now. It looks different now than it did 5 years ago or 10 years ago. So I still know the concepts. I could still hop in if I need to, but I'm not going to go in and lead a client. I'm going to let them tell me what to do. Like, Randy, you need to do this project and this client, because they know better now. Or if we need to update a policy, listen to them, bring them in. If they come to you with a problem, ask them what they think the solution is, right? Because they probably know. And why reinvent the wheel? They probably already have it. So I try really hard to just engage them, right? Engaged employees are happy employees, right? So
Yeah, I agree. High performing, happy people. Brandy, how do we
Yeah.
find out more about you? How do we find out more about MedCycle Solutions?
I'm assuming you're going to link us in your stuff. So we have three websites. We have the MedCycle Solutions one, we have the MedAcademy one, and then we have Business Office Consultants. We're also out on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram on all three of those things and personally. So yeah, find us. Love to help you.
Incredible. Like I just love it. Tick, 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 tick. It's so, so good.
Yep.
Like so good,
Yep. Yep.
Randy. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm going to let you get to
Thank you.
your evening. And it's been wonderful chatting with you. Like I said, you're a one unstoppable woman and especially as well now that are you a nana or are you a grandma or what are you?
We are Nana, and then my husband, if you're familiar with the Korean boy band that's K-pop, my husband is Korean, so he is now K-pop. So I am Nana and he is K-pop.
Oh, how cute. Yeah,
So
my
yep,
mum's a nanny, so yeah, that's quite cute.
yep, yep,
K-pop. Oh, I love
yep.
it. I love it. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. I'm wishing you a wonderful
Thank
evening
you.
and yeah, thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank you.